when you were on the show previously, everyone was really taken with you and fell in love with you. And you were waiting, weren't you, for the opportunity to have this double hand transplant. And it was just a few days after you had appeared that it came good. Tell us briefly what happened and how it then escalated.
I waited 4.5 years. That was a really hard match for a donor. So I just got it into my head that it was never going to happen. And I just got on with life and I did things like Killy and I just got on with it. But just one day in January, just all of a sudden, the phone call came and an hour later you're in an ambulance going to Leeds.
Because the technicalities is, any donor match is challenging, but this has to be the similar size, so the muscles and the tendons will work. For cosmetic and comfortable reasons, similar skin tone. There's so much to get right, isn't there?
Yeah. The problem for me, though, was that when I was ill with my sepsis 6 years ago, I'd had 25 blood transfusions.
Right.
And that gave me 25 sets of antibodies that they couldn't use or they couldn't have in the donor. So that's what made me a hard match.
You got the match, you've now got the hands, and the thing that you said you most wanted to do was to shake hands with people, particularly your lovely son, who we'll see in a moment. But can we shake hands?
Please do.
I'm slightly nervous because I don't...
I think that's quite a good grip too, Kate.
That's a really good... That is a firm
and do you,
handshake.
This might sound a silly question, but do you get complete feeling in those hands?
No, not yet. I know I'm doing it. There's
Right.
hard sensations. In the shower, it's very sore because they're hypersensitive now. But with a feather, I don't feel
And may
that
I
sort of
say,
thing.
just so we can see the hands, a wonderful manicure. Look at that. That is a manicure to be proud of. And things like that, while sounding trivial, must be just such a joy for you.
Little things every day I'm finding. This morning, I found I was able to pull the loose skin from my eyes while I was doing my eyeliner.
Right.
So with one hand do this and the other hand...
Just the simple things, isn't
And
it?
just doing things with one hand is huge for me because with stumps, everything had to be clenched, 2 stumps.
Yeah. And is there a psychological effect as well? I mean, the fact that does it cross your mind it's somebody else's hands? Is there other issues that go through your mind at that point?
They go very hard into the training to make sure you can deal with the psychological issues. So for a long time, I knew it was going to take a while. I would wake up and forget and have to get used to it again. And in actual fact, it was complete opposite. The minute I wakened up, they were mine.
Right, you felt lucky.
And I actually had to keep reminding myself that I've been so lucky to get this gift and somebody's donated these to me.
And do you have any idea about who the donor might be? Or?
Yeah, we've been in touch through an intermediary now, so you're starting to build a little bit of a picture and we're discussing perhaps meeting up, but...
With the family and
Yeah, I would
It
just
is
leave
an
it up to them.
amazing, amazing thing. So for you, you'd achieve so much without the hands. But to be able to, for instance, your son's here, and be able to hold his hand and to hug him and to have that feeling has been everything, hasn't it?
Yeah, and to be able to do it with hands, to be able to... just little things.
Just tell us a little bit about sepsis and what people need to know.
Well, the problem, there's so many illnesses out there that are killers, that are horrible. So not taken away from those. But the difference with sepsis is it's an overnight thing, and you either live or you die. So you need to spot it early. We were with Find Your Feet's a charity that I set up, and the Scottish Government did a funny thing of saying they weren't going to raise awareness of it, which seemed a bit bizarre to us. So we put a video out and it went viral and all of a sudden you've raised awareness. So we managed to convince them to do a fairly big U-turn. We're now working with Sepsis UK, hopefully going to get involved with them and try and do the same in England as well. And it just, if you know the symptoms, if you can ask the question early.
And what are some of those early symptoms for most people that end up?
A lot of them are flu-like symptoms.
So really,
That's the difficulty. And a lot of the symptoms that they list, I didn't have them. So it is difficult, but if you feel so poorly, just ask the question. Let's not cause a panic, just ask the question of your medic, your doctor.
Do you think, do you think it might be sepsis?
Yeah, could this possibly
Get them
be?
alerted to it.
Yeah, and let
Let's
them
just
decide.
have one look at half of these miraculous hands then. Tell us about how the feeling is coming back and what the next stage is for you. Because you went to Glastonbury, didn't you, last weekend? I mean,
Did you throw your hands in the air?
That is a lively event for anybody.
The problem, I've had such a rough year since getting the transplant. The immune suppressants that I'm on mean that I get every illness going. The medications that I'm on just completely messed with my body. I've spent weeks and weeks and weeks of this year in hospital. So all of a sudden they changed my medications and I started to feel better and I had no infection. And I had the Glastonbury tickets and thought I wasn't going to make it. And I just went, and that's part of the. I suppose what I try to do with my job at Find Your Feet is to show people that you can be yourself and you can get your own life back. And for me, that would be Glastonbury and doing that kind of thing. But it's also a bit silly. It's a very hard challenge for me.
Yes.
Almost like Kilimanjaro or something, where I wasn't prepared and I wasn't fit for it. So I've made it really difficult for myself. And the heat made it, my legs swell up and I couldn't get my prosthetics on, ended up in a wheelchair. And I made it about as hard as I could for myself and my friends.
Corinne, you're truly, utterly inspiring. It is amazing. And, you know, you give people so much hope that, you know, for most people perhaps will never experience what you've been through, but to know that you've been through that and you've overcome it and you're here now and with so much joy and positivity, I think we can all take something away from that. Thank you so much.
Very wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you got to do the things that you want to do more and more.
So important.
Lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.